Why I'm here today is to talk about suicide prevention. I am the director and chair of Suicide Prevention Alliance. That's a new organization that started last year, and I have some amazing board members. I have some amazing friends that I have met through suicide prevention. Our organization supports those affected and impacted by suicide, provides education, awareness, and understanding by collaborating with the community, all of you, to reduce the stigma associated with suicide. For those who don't know me, I am a loss survivor. That is someone who lost somebody to suicide. I lost my brother, Michael, 42 years ago, January 30th, and I live with that memory every day, as do some of you in here who have lost loved ones and friends and co-workers to suicide. I want to do everything that I can to make sure that I put to all of you why we need to do more and why we just can't settle for the status quo. Today should be a good day because actually suicide rates have gone down over the past 2 years. So while we started out with the current stats of 45,979 people that we lost in this country, actually that has lessened by over 1,500. While we started out in Pennsylvania, 1,694 people we have currently lost to suicide, which is 202 less than last year. But I'm still not happy, and we should never settle for just reducing it a couple hundred, because we shouldn't ever settle for being a number. We have those successes that have happened that have lowered the current rates, but we need to do more. I recently read a headline over social media and in the newspaper that said, "The government recognizes that suicide is a problem." Well, that's pretty obvious, but they never stated what they are doing. Try telling them that suicide is a problem to a recent family who lost their 12-year-old daughter last week in Lancaster County. Try telling that to a family who I just went to where they lost a father to suicide when they were in the house themselves. Tell that to the families that don't have insurance and can't get help for their loved one who's thinking about suicide and saying, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do." We have so many people out there that are thinking about suicide. We have so many loss survivors that are out there. We have so many attempt survivors that we're not doing enough for them. And while we should be ecstatic that we're lowering numbers, those numbers could easily go up again. Again, we need to do more because we're still losing lives to suicide. There are still people having thoughts about suicide. People are still attempting. People still need help. We need to start the conversation about suicide. There are some good things that happened over the past year. First, we've established a 988 number that you can call or text to get help. That's fantastic. We've established 2 loss teams for those newly bereaved survivors. Loss teams are actually made up of other loss survivors who's lost loved ones who go out immediately when notified by the coroner or by law enforcement to go help that newly bereaved family and comfort them and give them the resources necessary where they can get help. We also started 2 Hope Squads in Pennsylvania, one in York and one in DuBois, Pennsylvania, who offer peer support in schools. So we have teens that are trained actually to talk about suicide, and then if the students are telling them that they can get help by their advisor. So there are good things that are happening out there, but we have so much more to do. We are having monthly task forces with our suicide prevention task forces, some of which are here today, which I absolutely love. We are getting together to do a lot of good work by sharing unique and great ideas on how we can bring suicide down and get people help. The bottom line is we cannot still say we recognize that suicide is a problem and not do the necessary things to make a difference. Here are some things that we have to do if we are to make a difference. Number one, start the conversation about suicide. Start it with our family, our friends, with coworkers, people we go to church with people we don't even know. We have to make suicide a part of the normal, everyday conversation. Number two, we need more education and training like QPR, question, persuade, refer, assist training, applied suicide intervention skills training, more training for loss teams, more training for hope squads, more training for everybody. Number three, we must talk to people who have lived experience, those attempt survivors, those loss survivors, those people who have been impacted by suicide, those people who are currently having suicidal thoughts today. We have to make sure that we actually talk to them to see what their needs are. Number four, we need a better data collection. We need to know why people are dying from suicide. We need the coroners to ask the family members, what are the warning signs? Were they taking any medication? What occupation did they have? Were there any mental health issues that they were experiencing? And a lot more information to make sure we're gathering the data necessary to make a tragedy into something proactive, to find those things that we can do to make sure that we're making a difference with the data that we're collecting. We need to use better, less stigmatizing language. And what I mean by that is we can't say words like committing or complete. Those are outdated words, but yet a lot of people still use those. One of the reasons why we don't use committing is because it usually in a negative context means a crime or a sin. Or complete suicide, that really just means that someone has had an accomplishment. Suicide is not an accomplishment. We need to say died by suicide. That is the current proper language. And less stigmatizing. Just like we die from cancer, we die from suicide. And also with that, we need to listen better. We need to really open our ears to make sure that we're hearing the people that need our help. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, we don't listen, and in the aftermath, we find out, if I only would have listened better. Please, we can institute trainings to help you listen better. For now, I'm going to end with this quote. Robert Kennedy once said, "The future does not belong to those who are content with today. Rather, it will belong to those who can blend vision, reason, and courage in a personal commitment." I'm asking all of you here today to use that vision and personal commitment to help end suicide.